Hello, everybody. Welcome to May 4th, 2021 is when this is being recorded and hopefully uploaded later this evening. It is May the Forsch Be With You Day. Star Wars fans are well aware. And so we're going to do a replay using Bob Forsch. So may the Forsch be with him. And this is Payoff Pitch. I haven't done a game of Payoff Pitch in a while, so I wanted to take a chance to put that out there on the channel since I haven't done it in a while. This is a replay of the game from September 26, 1983, when Bob Forsch threw his second no-hitter in his career against the Montreal Expos. I will also be using the base running and fielding charts from ID Jester. You can get these off of the website, the Sideline Strategies website, off the free area. So we'll be using those in lieu of fast action cards or the traditional payoff pitch charts. So we'll be using the ID Jester charts to see how they play out. Played about 2 games with them just to try to get familiar with them. So hopefully I've gotten it down pretty good. That doesn't mean I won't make a mistake, but we'll try not to. The lineup in the game: Francona is in right for the Expos, trio at second, Dawson in center, Oliver at first, Raines in left, Carter catching, Spire at third, Angel Salazar at short, and Steve Rogers on the mound. Lonnie Smith is in left, Oberkfell at second, McGee in center, Daryl Porter catching, Andy Van Slyke at third, Green in right, Aducci at first, Ozzie Smith at short, and Forsch on the mound for the Cardinals. Cardinals won this game 3-0. I believe it was 3-0 in real life on the no-hitter. There were 3 ejections in the game, as Bob Forsch allowed 2 base runners in the game. One was on a hit by pitch. He hit Gary Carter in the second inning, and that produced warnings from Harry Wendelstadt, the umpire, home plate umpire. The next batter came up and grounded a ball to the third baseman, Andy Van Slyke. I'm sorry, not to Van Slyke, to Oberkfell, rather, at second base. And Oberkfell made a throwing error, and that put runners at the corners with 2 down. And then he got out, runners on the corners, and I think he got out of it from there. Never let another base runner on, and the no-hitter was intact. But later in the 5th inning, a relief pitcher, Dan Schatzeder, hit Andy Van Slyke, and that produced an automatic ejection from Harry Wendelstadt. He also ejected at the same time. He ejected the manager of the Expos on that one, Bill Verdon. He got ejected at the same time, and then later in the game, another player was ejected arguing balls and strikes. So 3 ejections for Harry Wendelstadt is also something that came up in this game that I noticed. So Bob Forsch finishing up those warm-up tosses on the 83 season. He was only 10-12 with a 4.28 ERA, so not exactly somebody you would think of as throwing a no-hitter, but that's what usually happens. Somebody like Steve Carlton's never thrown a no-hitter, but then people like, well, I'll just use one for example. People like Lynn Barker throw a perfect game, so just go figure. All right, so I think everything is in place. My little lapel microphone actually is broken right now, so I'm just going to try to use the volume on the phone that I have overhead. So hopefully it picks up well. I did a test, and it seemed like it was okay, but I want to test it before I see if I want to buy another little microphone or whether I can just go with this setup here and be done with it. I would prefer to do that, actually, so we'll see. All right, so off we go here. Bob Forsch and the Cardinals against the Expos. And on the dice, we have the black and white die, D10s. The black is the 10s, the white is the 1s, so that's a roll of 46, not 64, but a roll of 46. And then we have the 2 D6s. The color die is important because that will determine a lot of times where it'll be a hit locator for base hits. It'll be fielding checks. It'll have something to do with that as well. So I like to keep an eye on that as we go along. All right, so Bob Forsch facing Terry Francona on Bob Forsch. May the Forsch be with you day. May the 4th, 2021. And may the Forsch be with Bob Forsch. We shall see. All right, the first roll is a 5, which is ballpark, 61, but that's going to be on the in play, not the wheelhouse. So go to Terry Francona on the in play. A 1-46 would be a base hit, and the no-hitter would be off on the very first at bat. Wouldn't that be something? Nope, it's a 62 instead, so that's going to be a ground ball to short. Ozzie Smith, Johnny on spot. 1 down, and we're underway here from Busch Stadium. Here's Manny Trio. That's a 3, which is defense. Now the ID gesture charts come on the very second batter of the game. We go to the defensive charts, and we look at the 2 D10s. The black die rather, is the first D10, and that determines whether it's an error check or a range check. If it's even, it's an error check. Odd, it's a range check. This is odd, so it's a range check. The second one tells you what position. Well, the 5 means third base. So we're doing a range check of the third baseman, Andy Van Slyke. And yes, he did play third base before he went to the outfield. So Van Slyke's range, not very good. It's a D. So 1 to 75, the no-hitter's gone. 76 or higher, he somehow miraculously makes the play. We shall see. But most likely the no-hitter is going to be off the board right here. And it is. 68 is going to get through for a base hit. Van Slyke, not very good range. So Trio gets the base hit. He's no threat to steal. He did not have any attempts on the season, so he stands pat. And that'll bring up Andre Dawson. One other thing to mention on Forsch's card, he's got a percentage roll plus 10 for strikeouts. So anytime we get the tough roll, we're going to add 10 to the D10 number total, because it's to simulate him not striking out so many batters, because he had very few strikeouts. Here's Dawson. Forsch. That is a 00, and that is a rare play. Now, a lot of times what ID said to do on rare plays is, because it's a tough at the moment, he said on rare plays, it is the wheelhouse result. But I got to figure out how I actually would like to use the replay baseball rare play. That's what I've been doing on Inside Pitch. So I think I'm going to try it and see if I can translate it to Payoff Pitch somehow. So we're going to go to Rare Playbook on the replay baseball game with a runner on first and 1 out. And we're going to re-roll and see what the total is, which is a 10. So runner on first, rare play runner on first, a 10, and there's 1 out. It's attempted pickoff, possible balk move. Pitcher makes a questionable move to first base. Roll 1 die against his hold rating. If the die is higher, a balk is called and runner takes second. If not higher, runner is picked off. Okay, now, in this instance, that's backwards, because on Payoff Pitch, the hold rating, the higher the number, the worse you are, whereas in replay baseball, the higher the hold rating, the better you are. So in this case, it has to be less than this. So his hold rating is a 7. At least let me double check and make sure. Let me get my mind's eye and make sure I'm doing that correctly, because I don't want to get that incorrectly when I'm trying to translate these things. Does it make sense? Let's see, because the better pitchers have a hold rating like 4 or 5, and this is saying that if the die is higher, it's a balk. So in my case, in my thing, to me, that means the pitcher with better hold rating and Payoff Pitch would have a better chance to have a balk. So to me, it should be reversed. So if it's lower than, let's see if it's lower or less than or equal to. Let's see. Oh, if it's higher, okay. Oh, if it's lower. All right. So if this is a 2 through 6, he will make a balk. That's what it says here. Let me make sure I'm getting it right, because like I said, I'm trying to translate the game here. Roll 1 die against his hold rating. If the die is higher, a balk is called and runner takes second. If it's not higher, runner is picked off. See, I'm thinking it should be reversed. That it should be lower. If it's lower than that, then the balk is called and runners. If it's not lower, then the runner is picked off. Because a good hold rating of 3 or 4 would have more chance to have a balk that way. How do I want to play this? Do I have a balk on a higher or a balk on a lower? I think we're balking on a lower, and if it's not lower, the runner's picked off. And we get a 12, so it's definitely not lower, so the runner is picked off, according to this. As I translate that, that's a pick off. So Trio is picked off. Forsch picked him off. And like I said, it's kind of questionable. It's the first time I've tried to use the replay rare play chart on rare plays for inside pitch, because I don't really like the inside pitch rare play chart all that much. It's mostly doing with injuries and stuff, so I'd rather just go with this. So that's why I'm going to play it, and that's going to be consistent with it, I guess. Comes up again. Forsch, 5 is ballpark, 85. That's in play for Andre Dawson. So Andre Dawson has an in-play chance. 13, though, is going to be a base hit for Andre Dawson. 2-out single to Andre Dawson. Now, he has a good chance to steal. His hold is a 7, so to get a jump, we need to roll a 7 or less. And we do. So it's a chance for a stolen base. And let's look at the ID Jester stolen base charts. Stolen base chart for ID Jester's cards. C is the steal rating of Andre Dawson. So as a C, you start out with a 7. Catcher arm factors into that. The catcher arm Porter is a 2. Since he is a 2, that takes away 1 from the steal rating. So instead of being a 7, it is now a 6. So Andre Dawson would have a 1 to 6 to steal, or 7 to 12 he'd be caught. So we're going to see if he can steal it. He does not. He gets caught. So Andre Dawson caught stealing. So we had a pickoff and now a caught stealing to end the inning. So some funky base running there by the Expos as they get 2 runners on and both are eliminated on the base paths. We go to the bottom of the first. Expos nothing, Cardinals coming to bat. And here's Lonnie Smith facing Steve Rogers. 6 is tough, 27, struck him out. See, there is no change here, so that strikeout stands. Had that been by Forsch pitching, we'd have added 10 to this and made it a 37, and that would have changed the strikeout to a hit. But in this case, it stays a strikeout. So, strikeout for Steve Rogers, although he didn't strike out very many either. He only had 146 in 273 innings, so he wasn't necessarily a big strikeout pitcher either. But in that case, it held up. 6 is tough, 26. Tough 26. Oberkfeld's going to fight that off for a base hit. So Ken Oberkfeld gets on. Hold rating for Rogers is an 8. Carter's arm, though, is a 1, which is a -2 for any steals. Oberkfeld is a C, so he would be a 7. So it'd be a 1 to 5 to try to steal it. It would not be worth it, so they're not even going to try it. He'll hold fast, and here's Willie Mcgee. Mcgee, 7 is in play, 49. In play, 49 is going to be a base hit for Willie Mcgee. And now, again, we go to the ID Jester charts for base runner advancement. The 5 on the red die tells us it went to right field. 1 to 2 is to left, 3 to 4 is the center, 5 to 6 is to right. So this goes to right field. And when you're going from right field to first base, you get a pretty good boost trying to get that advancement. So from right field to go from first to third on a single to right, we are looking here, and the run rating of Oberkfeld is a 5. The arm rating of the right fielder, Francona, is a 6. So it does not qualify. It's not a hit and run. There are not two outs, so you can't get the base running boost there. It wasn't a wheelhouse. It was in play. You got to have a +8, and he doesn't have that, and it wasn't a defense. So he could do the choice at this point, which is rolling 2d6s, comparing the arm rating to the run rating. And if they're both lower, equal to or lower, then he makes it. That's a 5, and the arm rating here is a 6. But to me, when you go from first to third in my homebrew, I'm giving the guy an extra run to a boost to his rating because that throw has to go to third base. So to me, I'm giving him an extra boost, which is going to make him run at a 6. So if he's running at a 6, if there were 2 outs, he'd make it automatically, but it's not 2 outs. So we're going to have a throw. 1 to 6, he makes it. 7 or higher, he's out. And he's out. 7, he is out. So Francona throws him out trying to get to third. It's going to go 9 to 5, Dolly Parton style. Willie Mcgee holds at first base on the throw, but now 2 are down for Daryl Porter, the batter. Willie Mcgee will try to get a jump, perhaps. He's a B, which would relate to an 8, but again, -2 would make it a 6. Be a 1 to 6 to try to steal it if they think he can do it to get in scoring position. Let's see if he can get a jump. He can. So now 1 to 6, and he will steal it. And he's caught stealing. So maybe at first when I was testing this thing, I was thinking the ID charts were too heavy into allowing too many steals. But now it looks like maybe it's too restrictive. But I think it's because Gary Carter's got such a good arm. All right, so again, another blundered on the base paths. 2 outs made on the base paths once again for both teams. So base running has been a fiasco. Here's Al Oliver. Not because of ID's charts, just the way things are working out. 7 is tough, 81, but we're going to add 10 to that, make it a 91. So it's a ground ball to second. Not that that really mattered in this case, but again, it's taking away the strikeouts. Here's Tim Raines. 9 is tough, 70, but that becomes an 80. Tough 80 is a fly to center, 2 down. That brings up Gary Carter, catcher. 11 is in play, 17. That's a base hit for Gary Carter, a 2-out single. And of course, he is no threat to steal. Here's Chris Spire, third baseman. We get a 9, which is tough, 60, but it becomes a 70. 70 tough is a ground ball to second to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the second, no score here from St. Louis on May the Forsch Be With You Day. Rogers now will face Daryl Porter. That's a 6, which is tough, 49. Porter 49 tough is a base hit. Daryl Porter fights off a tough pitch and gets the base hit. He's no threat to steal, so he'll stay in pat. Van Slyke the batter. 8 is patient, 62. 62 is a walk. So Van Slyke draws the base on balls, and now 2 are on with nobody out, and the first real threat of the game is first runner to get in scoring position. Here is David Green. We get a 6, which is tough, 85. Tough 85 is a fly to center, 1 away. Now you could, on the tag up chart, there is a possibility to go to third on ID's charts. To go to third base on a fly to center, you have to have an 8 or higher base running rating. Well, in this case, Porter's only a 5, so he will stay put. So Green is out on the fly to center. That brings up Jim Adducci. We get a 9, which is tough. 13, struck him out. 2 down for Ozzie Smith. Try to get the white die did not go through, so that's Suadai. Stuck to my finger there. Try again. 5 is tough, 88. Tough 88 is a ground ball to short, and the inning's over. So 2 innings are in the books, no score here at Busch Stadium. Forsch and Rogers. It'll be Angel Salazar, followed by Rogers and Francona. Salazar, that's a 2 on Forsch, is tough. 86, it turns to a 96, which is a fly to left. So 1 away, and that brings up the pitcher, Steve Rogers. He was a 146 hitter in 1983. That's an 8, which is in play. 58, well out of range. 58's a fly to right. 2 down. And back to the top of the order for Terry Francona. This is a 10, which is in play. 88, that's definitely out of range. 88 is going to be a ground ball to second. And both pitchers so far, little chinks in the armor early, but they fended them off, and the shutouts stay intact. Bob Forsch will lead things off. He was a very good hitter, 241 with a home run, so no slouch at the plate whatsoever. 12 is defense, so we're going back to the ID gesture charts for defensive plays. The black die is odd, which means that's a range check, and that's a 2, which means it's a catcher. We're doing a range of Gary Carter. He is a range of B, so Bob Forsch has kind of chopped one in front of the plate. He's a B for his range. Hits 1 to 52, 53 or higher, it'll be an out. And he's out of there. So Carter makes the play. 2-3 put out. Forced the slow running Forsch, couldn't beat it. 1 away for the Lonnie Smith, top of the order. Rogers 7 is in play. 17, that's a base hit for Lonnie Smith. Now, can he do anything? He's a C stealer, but Gary Carter with that -2 factoring is really going to cut down on any chances to steal. So they're going to hold, after having guys thrown out, they're going to hold Lonnie Smith right there. And let's see, we're going to do a hit and run with Ken Obergfell because he doesn't strike out much at all. So we're going to do a hit and run. So let's look at the hit and run plays here on ID's charts. On all hit and runs, batter take an extra base. Batter double play rating is -2 to a minimum of 4. Right now he's a double play rating of 7, so that would drop him to a 5. Left-handed batters, a G6 turns into a single. Ground ball to short turns to a single for Oberkfell. All lineouts are double plays. All wheelhouse home runs become doubles. All wheelhouse doubles become singles. If batter strikes out, the runner must steal with a -2 to his rate. So if he does strike out, then Lonnie Smith's going to have a very tough time trying to steal. But we'll see what happens. We get a 7, which is in play 90. So 90 is a ground ball to second. It won't be a hit because he had to have a ground ball to short to stick it through the hit and run. It will just be a ground out. But again, it takes 2 away from his double play rating. So his double play rating drops from a 7 to a 5. So the 5 and the 6 here. So this has to be a 5 or less to be a double play. And it is not. So the fact that they were going, well, he wouldn't have had a double play only because it was a 6, but it could have been a double play against Oberkfell had they not been sending the runner on the hit and run. As it is, Lonnie Smith makes second base with 2 down where he can score on any base hit because his run rating's a 7. So any base hit to the outfield, it'll be automatic score because there are 2 outs. That'll be the boost you get for 2 outs. Here's Willie Mcgee. 7 is in play. 09. That's a triple for Willie Mcgee. So that will, I don't care where he is on the base pass, Smith's going to score on a triple. So 1-0 Cardinals as Willie Mcgee gets the RBI triple here in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Cardinals. And here's Daryl Porter. We get a 6, which is tough. 51. Just missed it. Daryl Porter was a 50. 51's a liner right to second base to end the inning. But the run comes in for the Cardinals on the RBI triple by Mcgee. We go to the top of the fourth. It is 1-0 Cardinals as they've given Bob Forsch a lead to work with. And see if the Forsch is with him. Here's Manny Trio. Singled and picked off his first chance. 9 is tough. 35, but it's tough, so we make it a 45. 35 would have been out anyway, but 45 is going to be a liner to second. And Oberkfell makes the grab. 1 away. Here's Dawson. We get an 11. That is in play. 07. That's a double for Andre Dawson. He's 2 for 2. 2 for 2 there, and now the tying run is in scoring position for Al Oliver. That's a 7, which is tough. 67. 67 is a fly to left. That's 2 down. Dawson's not going to be able to move up on that fly to left. So we have Tim Raines. 4, tough. 90. Becomes 100, but you can't have 100. You can only have 99, so it stays a 90. 90 is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 1-0 favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. Andy Van Slyke will lead it off. Walked his first chance. 8 is patient. Can he walk again? 58. Yes, he can. Second patient roll in a row for Van Slyke, so he walks. He will not try to steal against Gary Carter. He's going to stay put. Green, the batter. 7 is in play. 28. That's a base hit. Find out where it went. The base hit. Red die is a 6, which means it went to right field. And on a single to right field, in play, you need a 7 or higher to get to third base. He is a 7, so Van Slyke will take third base on the single. That puts runners on the corners with nobody out. And Jim Aducci, the batter. Infield for the Expos. What do? Do you play in, or are they going to play for a? I think they're going to play. They're going to play in. Rogers really needs a strikeout. 7 is in play. 83. 83 is a ground ball to second. And let's see what the infield in. Let's see what ID's charts say about infield in. Defense infield in. Let's see here on throws to home, -2 to the base runner. So the runner on third is Van Slyke. He would drop to a 5. He would need a 5 or less to be safe. So they're going to hold him there. Let's check about double plays. The result itself was an in play. Even number grounds out to position playing in will result in a base hit instead of an out. Even number ground outs to position playing in. All right. It was an even number at 86, but I don't know if they mean that or they mean the... I'm sorry, it was a 83, so it's odd, so it's not going to be that. It's going to be an out. Let's see here. So it's going to be an out. We're going to check for a double play. His double play rating's a 7. He's a 6, so let's see if we get a double play out of this. We do. So it's going to be, they're going to hold the runner, and it's going to be 4, 6, 3 double play. So Van Slyke indecisive, held, and by the time he held, with that ball hit that hard right at second baseman Trio, who was playing in, easy double play. So now there's 2 down and a runner at first base, or third base rather, for Ozzie Smith. We get a 7, which is in play 40, and that's a base hit. Maybe we should have walked Ozzie Smith. I don't know, with first base open, but they didn't. And Van Slyke comes in to score. It is 2-0 Cardinals. Cardinals lead it 2-0 now, and the base hit by Ozzie Smith is Forsch. 5 is tough, and he's going to strike out to end the inning. But another run comes in for the Cardinals, and they lead it 2-0. 2-0 Cardinals. And they would have gotten that run had they been playing normal double play depth here anyway, because that would have been back and they would have scored the run. So perhaps justice was served there. Here's Gary Carter. 7 is tough, 93, but that's going to be, well, you can't add 10 because that'd make it 103. So 93 is going to stay, and it's a fly to left. Here's Chris Spire. That's a 6, which is patient, 87. That's out of range. 87 is a ground ball to short. 2 down for Angel Salazar. We get a 9, tough. 41 becomes a 51. So instead of a triple, it's going to be a 51, and that's going to take it to a fly to right. So how about that? How about that? Or no, wait a minute. Maybe I'm playing that wrong. I think you only do the 10 if it's a strikeout, not if it's a different result. I think I'm playing that wrong. I think if you only add the 10 if it's a strikeout, not if it's something else. So actually at 41, that is a triple. I think I've screwed that up before. So let me fix that. I think that's the way you're supposed to play it. I believe you only add the 10 if it's a strikeout. See, I haven't played this game in a while, so I'm learning or relearning it because I haven't played in so long. Been playing inside pitch so much. So it is going to be a triple for Salazar. I think that's the way you're supposed to play it. I think you only add the 10 if the result ended up being a strikeout. It seems to make most sense because why would you change the regular outs? You're only trying to change the strikeouts. So in this case, it will stay a triple. So there's 2-out triple, and here's Rogers. 8 is in play, 0-3, and Rogers is going to get himself a base hit, breaks up the shutout, makes it a 2-1 game. How about that? Steve Rogers gets a base hit, of all people. 2-22, and he found an 0-3. It was good enough for a base hit. Cuts the lead to 2-1. And here's Francona. Forsch wasn't with him on that one. Forsch was with Rogers. Francona, 5 is ballpark, 26. That's in the wheelhouse for Terry Francona. A 1-25, and it's gone. It's a 69. That's out of range, so 69 is going to be a fly to center to end the inning. Francona just missing it. But the Expos do get on the board, and at the end of 4.5, it's St. Louis 2, Montreal 1. Rogers is back out, and Lonnie Smith steps to the plate. We get a 9, which is tough. 10, struck him out. Lonnie Smith strikes out for the second time. Here's Oberkfell. Oberkfell, 7 is in play, but it's a 77, and that's a fly to center. 2 down, and here's Willie Mcgee. Willie Mcgee, 8 is patient, 95. That's well out of range. That's a fly to left, and the inning's over. So we go to the 6th. It is still 2-1 Cardinals on Bob Forsch. May the Forsch be with you day. Lightsabers all around. Here's Manny Trio. 5 is ballpark, 32. That's in the wheelhouse for Manny Trio. His wheelhouse home run chance, 1-39, will tie the game. And it's 0-3. It's gone. So the Force was with Manny Trio on that at bat, and we got a tie game at 2. Just that quickly. All tied up. Here's Andre Dawson. 9 is tough. 81. 81's going to be a fly to center. 1 down. Here's Al Oliver. Oops. Forsch to Oliver. 6 is patient. 38. 38 is going to be a base hit for Al Oliver. 1 out single. And that brings up Tim Raines. 7 is tough. 74. 74 is a ground ball to second. Will it be a double play? Let's find out. It will not, because he's a 6 yet, and that's a 7. So it'll be a force play. And the force play went to second to short. So it's a 4-6 fielder's choice. Raines is the new batter, or new runner, I should say. Now, can he get a chance to steal? The jump of Forsch is a 7. So he gets the jump. He is a B stealer. B means a rating of 8. The arm of Porter is a 2, which means you subtract 1 makes him a 7. So it's a 1 to 7 to steal it for Raines. And it's a 9. He's caught stealing. Boy, might have to look at some of these charts because we're getting a lot of caught stealings here all of a sudden. And Raines stole 90 bases, only caught 14 times. So may have to do some adjustments on that. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But maybe it's just the way the dice are rolling as well. So the Expos tied the game on the home run by Manny Trio. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2. Daryl Porter, the batter. 5 is tough. 70. That's going to be a ground ball to short. 1 away. Porter is retired. Here's Van Slyke. 7 is in play. 48. That's out of range. 48 is going to be a liner right to second baseman Trio. 2 down for David Green. 3 is in play. 19. That's a base hit. 2 out single for Green. He's not going to try anything. Here's a Ducci. 9 is tough. 67. Struck him out. Innings over. We go to the 7th. Tied at 2. Now Forsch's fatigue rating is a 6. But if you allow 2 runs or less, you can keep going with no fatigue issues. But if he allows a 3rd run, he would have to default to his fatigue pitcher card, which we really don't like to do. So hopefully he can avoid that, or we'll just go to the bullpen. Here's Carter. That is a 6, which is patient. 50, and that's a double for Gary Carter. Leadoff double for Gary Carter. Back come the Expos. Here's Spire. That's a 6, which is patient again. 18, that's a walk. First 2 are on. Bullpen now got activity going for the Cardinals, as we do have some activity down there. We do have a left-hander, Dave Rucker, loosening in the bullpen. And they also have a right-hander, Jeff Lottie. Those 2 are loosening in the pen. All right, here's Salazar. He's actually a really good bunter, so we're going to have him try to do a sacrifice bunt, even though the pitcher spot is due up next. They're going to do a sacrifice bunt. And to do sacrifice bunts, we look at the bunt rating of the batter, which is an A, and that's a 9. Roll 1d6, find out where the ball is going. It's going to the number 4, which is the catcher. The catcher range, Porter is a C for his range. So a C range catcher doesn't change that. It stays a 9. So 1 to 9, and it's a good sacrifice. And it is, barely, but it's a good sacrifice. Call it 2 to 4. That puts runners at second and third, with 1 out for Steve Rogers. Now, do they pinch hit for Rogers? This is where the National League game gets a little bit, I think you almost have to pinch hit for Rogers here. You're playing for a win. You're not playing for a complete game. So they're going to pinch hit for Rogers with Warren Cromartie. The Crow, as they used to call him. He will pinch hit. And the Cardinals are going to have to bring the infield in. They don't want to give up a cheap run if they can avoid it. But Cromartie into pinch hit. 1 out, runners second and third. They could walk Cromartie and load the bases and set up a force play at any base if they choose. That's an option, but they're going to go ahead and pitch to him with the infield in. We get a 9, which is tough, 93. 93 is a fly to right field. Is it a sacrifice fly? Well, let's look at the fly out advance chart. To get home, automatically, you have to have either a defensive check or a wheelhouse. This was neither one of those. This was actually a tough result. So to score, you'd have to check the base running rating. Gary Carter's only a 4. He would need a 4 or less to come in because the arm in left field, the arm of the left fielder I'm sorry, of the right fielder, arm of the right fielder, green is a 6. But you have to have less than or equal to both to make it. If you roll a 5 or a 6, it would be a throw chart. So I think they're going to have to hold him there. I don't think it's deep enough. So Cromartie could not hit it deep enough. Out number 2, he fails in the pinch, but Francona could get the hit that puts them in the lead. We get a 5, which is ballpark 91. It's in play, not on the wheelhouse. It's in play. 1-46. He still gets a hit, but it's a 57, and that's going to end up being a ground ball to short. And Forsch pitches out of that mess. How about that? He pitches out of it, and now we need a new pitcher for the Expos because they went for the offense and it just didn't work out for them. Ozzie Smith is the first batter to hit, and then Forsch would be behind him, so you're going to pinch hit for Forsch for sure. So Forsch will get a no decision unless the Cardinals score this inning. So it'll be Smith, a pinch hitter, and then the other Smith, Lonnie Smith. So they're going to go to Bob James out of the bullpen. And we'll get a pinch hitter for the Cardinals as Forsch's day is done. They will pinch hit with Steve Braun. So Steve Braun will pinch hit after Ozzie Smith. You'll be coming on. But first things first, it is Bob James facing Ozzie Smith. Steve Rogers goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs. So very nice outing there. See how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits allowed by Rogers. He walked Van Slyke twice. That's the 2 walks. Didn't walk anybody else. And he struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For Forsch, he's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hits given up by Forsch in 7 innings, including a home run. Let's check walks. He gave up 2 runs, obviously. They were both earned. Walks and strikeouts. He walked 1. That was it. He only walked Chris Spire. That was the only walk he issued. So 1 walk. Strikeouts. He did not strike out anybody. No strikeouts whatsoever. No strikeouts. That's the kind of game you get with Forsch. You get low walks and low strikeouts. So now we got Ozzie Smith, followed by the pinch hitter Braun here in the bottom of the 7th, tied at 2. That's a 2, which is tough, 47. And for Ozzie Smith, that's a ground ball right back to Bob James, 1 away. And now the pinch hitter Steve Braun. Oh, Suadice will re-roll all these. We had a 6, which is tough. 0-0. We're going back to the rare play chart, and hopefully this will work well this time. We shall see. It is a 4 with the bases empty and 1 out. So we'll go to bases empty on the rare play chart for replay baseball. And we get a 4, and there's 1 out. Batter hit on wrist by pitch. Batter is removed from the game for cautionary x-rays of his wrist. So how about that? It says he's replaced in the game by a pinch runner who attempts to steal on the first pitch to the next hitter. Roll 1 die against the runner's speed. If the die is higher, he is caught stealing. If not higher, it's a stolen base. All right, so let's look at, let's see, who is he replaced by? Pinch runner. So I got to find a good pinch runner for him. Who can run well on the bench for the Cardinals is the question. We want somebody that can run pretty fast. So far, 6 is the highest I'm seeing. Actually, Jimmy Sexton is a 7. So Jimmy Sexton is the pinch runner for Steve Braun, who gets hit by the pitch. So it's a hit by pitch, and now he has to try to steal. And if the roll is, according to this, if the roll is, let's see here, roll 1 die against the speed. If the die is higher, he's caught stealing. So if it's a 1 through 7, he steals it. 8 through 12, he's thrown out. And he's thrown out trying to steal. So Sexton gets caught stealing. Another caught stealing, but this one was on the rare play chart, not on the ID charts. So he's eliminated after the hit by pitch. He gets caught stealing to clear the bases. And now 2 outs and the base is empty. It's Lonnie Smith. 5 is tough. 91. That is a ground ball to short to end the inning. Ground ball to short ends the inning. We go now to the 8th. Score still 2-2. And we need a new pitcher for the Cardinals. And it will be a right-hander, Jeff Lottie. Jeff Lottie is on for the Cardinals to face Trio, Dawson, and Oliver. Top of the 8th, tied at 2 here on Bob Forsch Day. 6 is Patient, 66, and that's going to be a base hit for Trio. Trio gets the base hit. He is 3 for 4, including a home run, so he's really hitting the ball well in this game. Here's Dawson. 8 is In Play, 41, and that's a base hit for Dawson. Back-to-back singles. The red die is a 2, which means it went to left field, so not very much of a chance for Trio to move up. He only runs at a 5, so he will hold at second base. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And here's Al Oliver, and Lottie needs to regroup. 9, Tough. That's a good way to regroup. 56, Tough 56. That's a ground ball to third, possible double play. Let's roll for the double play. He's a 9, he's an 8. And we get an 8, so it will be a double play. Ground ball going to third. We're going to say that's, I don't think ID Gestures charts have anything on that. I don't think, anyway. Because it's not a defensive play. It was just straight double play. So I'm just going to call it 5-4-3. Double play. And Trio goes to third base. So Trio's at third now, but they're 2 outs for Tim Raines. We get a 5, In Play, 43, and that's a base hit for Raines, and the Expos take the lead 3-2 on the base hit from Tim Raines. 3-2 Expos now in the top of the 8th. Here's Gary Carter. 10 is Tough out, so this is going to be automatic out. 16 is a strikeout, so doesn't matter either way you go. And I think Tough out can't be a strikeout. I think it has to be an out, or it can't be a hit. I mean, I think it can still be a strikeout though. So I think it just means you take any potential base hits that show up in the tough range, you drop them to the out range. But this being a strikeout, I believe that stands as a strikeout to end the inning. But the Expos take a 3-2 lead into the bottom of the 8th. Bob James, normally a short reliever, so he will pitch just the one batter, or the one inning rather. And they will bring in the left-hander, Dan Schatzeder, to try to set things up for potentially for Jeff Reardon. So Schatzeder will be coming on. And James goes 1 inning. Gives up a hit, but nothing else. Caught stealing, took care of a lot of it. He did hit a batter. So now it is Oberkfell, McGee, and Porter, followed by Van Slyke. So 3 out of the next 4 are left-handed hitters. Hence Dan Schatzeder. Oberkfell only 194 against lefties versus 316 versus righties. Do you pinch hit for Oberkfell? Look at the Cardinal bench. Do they have anybody play second base that's any good? Billy Lyons, but he's not all that great. Doyle is not all that great. You'd like to save George Hendrick to hit for the pitcher here. You know what? We're gonna let Oberkfell swing away. Shots that why am I missing a die here? Only 3 of them went through. Let's re-roll that. That was weird. That didn't go all the way through. All right, now we got it. 4 is in play in a 12 against a lefty. That's a base hit for Oberkfell. So sticking with Oberkfell paid off. Base hit. Here's Willie Mcgee. McGee. 3 is ballpark, 45. He's a right-handed hitter since it's a switch hitter facing left, but it's still going to be just an in-play result. But we're doing in-play up to a 51 for Willie Mcgee to get a hit. It's a 29. That's a base hit for Willie Mcgee. And the base hit, the red die was a 1, so the base hit went to left field. So Oberkfell doesn't run well. He will stay at second base. So runners at first and second, nobody out. Here's Daryl Porter. Shots at her to Porter. 6 is Tough. 07 struck him out. Big strikeout there. 1 away. Here's Van Slyke. Andy Van Slyke. Might pinch hit for Van Slyke here because he was more of a rookie that year and not established, so it'd be more likely for them to pinch hit for him. So they're going to bring in to pinch hit big fat Floyd Rayford. So Floyd Rayford's going to pinch hit and stay in the game to play third base. So Floyd Rayford is going to pinch hit here in the 8th and stay in the game to play third base. Not very good at F and a 1. But they're trying to get the base hit out of him. Shots that are 8 is Patient 69. Patient 69's out of range. 69, fly to center, 2 down. And that brings up Green. And again, you're not going to run on Andre Dawson's arm, especially a slow runner like Oberkfell. So it's all depending on David Green to get it done. 11 is in play. 53 against the lefty won't do it. 53 is a ground ball back to Schatzeder. And the inning is over. So that sets up Jeff Reardon for the 9th. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. Did get a strikeout. So we go to the top of the 9th. And we'll see about whether Lottie comes back or not. He may or he may not. Chris Spire, Salazar, and a pinch hitter for Schatzeder due up for the Expos. So let's see what they want to do here. The Cardinals actually going to go ahead and bring in, since it's no longer a save situation or a chance for one, they're going to go ahead and bring in Bruce Sutter. Why not? Why hold him on the bench? So Bruce Sutter is on to pitch at the top of the 9th to try to keep the score where it is. Off of Lottie, 1 run on 3 hits. The 1 run was earned. No walks and a strikeout. So it'll be Spire, Salazar, and a pinch hitter. And they've already used Cromartie, so Brian Little, a switch hitter who hits pretty well against right-handed pitching, will be the pinch hitter, Brian Little. Pinch hit here in the 9th. So it's Spire, Salazar, and Little will be due up here in the top of the 9th against Bruce Sutter. In a 3-2 Expos lead here on Bob Forsch Day. 8 is Patient. 76, that's out of range. 76 is a fly to center. And Spire is retired. Here's Salazar. We get an 8, which is Patient. 88, though, that's well out of range. That's a ground ball to short. 2 down. For the pinch hitter, Brian Little, he hit 272 against the right-handed pitching. Only 171 against lefties. Sutter. 7 is Tough. 40. Tough 40 is out of range. That's going to be a ground ball to first, and the inning is over. So Sutter pitches his 1 inning, doesn't give up anything. And we go to the bottom of the 9th with Jeff Reardon coming on for the Expos. Reardon will be on, and we'll see what kind of pinch hitters the Cardinals wish to use against Reardon. But Reardon is your man to try to close the deal. He had 21 saves in 1983. For the Cardinals, Aducci is the leadoff man, but they're going to pinch hit for him for sure. With George Hendrick. I think Hendrick's going to lead off as a pinch hitter, pinch hitting for Aducci. Going to have George Hendrick. And that way he can stay in the game to play first base if it goes extra innings. So it's going to be Hendrick and then Ozzie Smith and then a pinch hitter for Bruce Sutter. And that pinch hitter will be hopefully a lefty that they have is pretty good. Steve, now I've already used Steve Braun, so I can't use him. Jamie Quirk's not very good. They don't have a whole lot left. They do have a Jeff Doyle, and he was on the roster at the time. He is a switch hitter, but he hit 306 against righties. So we're going to use Jeff Doyle. Jeff Doyle will pinch hit in the pitcher spot. But first things first, it is the pinch hitter George Hendrick against Jeff Reardon. Hendrick. Reardon to Hendrick. 7 is Tough. 18 struck him out. So Hendrick is out of there. Here's Ozzie Smith. Reardon to Smith. 10 is Patient. 66. Just missed it. 65 would have been a hit by pitch. 66, though, is a fly to right, out number 2. And the last hope is Jeff Doyle, part-time player, probably a September call-up. Played second base a few times. Had 37 at-bats, only 1 against the lefty, even though he's a switch hitter. 1 against the lefty, which he struck out. 36 at-bats against right-handers. He did hit .306. Reardon, 7 is tough, 85. That's well out of range. A ground ball to short. Picked up by Salazar, throws to Oliver, and the ball game is over. The Expos put a damper on Bob Forsch. May the Force be with you day, as the force was not with Bob Forsch today. He didn't take the loss, but he gets a no decision as his team loses. The winning pitcher actually was Bob James. Reardon gets the save. The loss goes to Jeff Lottie. So Reardon got a save with a strikeout. We'll do the totals very quickly to finish it off. For the Expos, 3 runs on 12 hits, and there were no errors. And for the Cardinals, 2 runs on 11 hits, and I believe also no errors. So there's your final line score. Let's move the dice tray out of the way. There's your final line score. Expos 3-12-0, Cardinals 2-11-0, winning pitcher James, losing pitcher Lottie, and the save to Reardon. But unfortunately for Bob Forsch, the Force was not totally with him or the Cardinals as they fall 3-2. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of I keep saying inside pitch because I played it so much. A payoff pitch. Haven't done it in a while, so I'm sure I made a few boo-boos. I know I caught the one I made on the plus 10 percentage. I eventually caught that. Made some errors with that earlier on, but I think I caught it, and hopefully it didn't affect anything. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.